All right, welcome back to Leafs fans in hostile lands. We are here to only talk about Kodak Black. The entire podcast is going to be about that guy, and I cannot wait, and I am so excited about it. We're going to start a new segment called How to Shag Your Honey at an NHL Game, and we're going to combine it with one of our favorite segments, Talk with Wife. Welcome, my wife, Max.
Hey, Max.
Hi.
Hey, Max.
Hi there.
How's it going?
Good.
We brought her on at the perfect time because she is my honey. So we're just trying to get some ideas from the fans, for our first NHL game together. We're not.
Now,
No.
But
I have seen a couple sleep together with each other at a hockey game, but that was a Sens Leafs game, and they literally fell asleep in the seats beside me. So the thing is a little bit different,
I
though.
was
So you were there. That's right.
it was you and me, Craig.
I'll remember. I've been to a lot of hockey
Still have
games.
that picture.
Oh, boy.
But just to start off and be really, really funny, if you didn't already know, because I know it's last week old news, Kodak Black, who I didn't even know is he a rapper? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, sounds cool.
He is a rapper.
He was doing something naughty with a woman. I don't know if it's his wife or his honey, but at a Panthers game, like right beside the executive. So we're gonna go over the do's and don'ts if you want to try to get away with that at a game. So I'm gonna start off. Don't do it out in the open. There was like a little bar right beside it. You could have just gone with the bar. Max, you got a do or don't for this one?
I don't know, because I know that there was a bar there, but I think if it is in fact what they were doing, I think that they did it there so everyone could see. So I would just say, like, I mean, I guess to live your best life, but that's not something I would do.
I think that's what he was really trying to do. However, I think he did pick the correct arena to do it. He did it at a Panthers game.
Yeah.
So
And
wasn't
if I
Panthers
can
Leafs.
just add one of those do's, because we've had a few don'ts. As if you're going to do it in the public eye, make sure you're thrust into the music, and he nailed that one.
So I was gonna say I've got a don't. I learned this one from Winnie the Pooh. Now I'm assuming Kodak is some sort of bear. So don't get your head stuck in the honey jar when you're doing this.
Yeah.
Don't get it stuck in the honey.
Dirty bird.
Like Winnie the Pooh. I don't remember him being part of the shagging something. My God. Okay, so join us next time for more on how to shag your honey at an NHL game. But our real segment with Talk with Wife is going to be a little bit of trivia on NHL nicknames. Max, what is your capacity for hockey in the NHL? You a big fan?
I mean, I've been to a couple of games, but I think the extent of my knowledge as far as hockey goes is probably whatever it is you're screaming at the television while you are watching games.
That's perfect.
So she knows fucking refs,
Right.
God damn it, Hall, and
Yeah, I don't suspect that I will be scoring very high on this, but I'll do my best.
And you used to be a Hostile Lands employee, yes?
Dun,
Used to
dun,
work for the
dun.
Sens.
Yeah, this was in another lifetime, but yes.
Before our marriage.
Yes, exactly.
Well before. You used to take the bus out to Canada. What
Yeah.
a trek.
It was a treat.
Okay,
That's a
gentlemen,
haul, for sure.
we're going to do a quiz, and it's going to be on Kahoot, because I'm a high school teacher. And unlike most of my students, everyone picked an appropriate name and their name, if I call my
Ish.
wife.
Yeah.
So we have Dan, Craig, and wife. Just so everyone knows, we're doing nicknames for the NHL, and this can be nicknames of teams and players. So we have a mix here. Here we go. NHL nicknames. I'm going to narrate the whole thing because this is an audio form of listening and stuff. First name is Bruno Marnes. Which player out of the big four is Bruno Marnes? Still
Definitely
waiting on one
Mrazek.
answer.
Yeah, definitely Peter
Still
Mrazek.
waiting on one answer.
Well,
Oh my
I'm
God.
trying to... How do I answer this? Sorry.
On your phone.
Oh, God, right. Of course. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Welcome.
Yep.
There's the old guy.
I got it.
Max got it.
How do I
Mitch
do this,
Marner. Very
guys?
good.
What is technology?
We are all in our 30s, and we did not have this when we were in school. Max isn't in her 30s. Never mind. That was an insult. I'm so sorry, my wife. Approaching, but not quite.
Yeah.
Oh, and she was the fastest, too. So
I was looking for the
Speed
word.
game.
I'm like, oh, wait, I need to match symbols.
Well, Craig, I was looking on my screen, so I didn't look at my phone.
Don't worry. When I do this with my students, they create bots, and then the bots just do random stuff, and it sucks.
Kids these days are far too smart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Poppy. Next nickname is Poppy. Who's it gonna be?
Mine's not coming up. There we go.
There we go. Oh, one person got it wrong.
I clicked the
Who
wrong
said John
button.
Tavares?
Hola, Papi.
I did. I went towards Matthews and hit Tavares instead.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wife, still in the lead. Well done. Nice.
I think I remember them calling him that in like that Amazon thing.
Oh yeah. Spider. Who's the Spider?
Gosh.
Jason Spezza, Rasmus Sandin, Wayne Simmons, or TJ Brody? Who's
This I don't know.
Spider?
I
And just so everyone knows, I have put a picture of TJ Brody on the screen with one of his awesome stick saves.
Yeah, but
By
that
the way,
threw
you
me
guys
off
have
'cause
30 seconds.
Are you throwing us off or are you giving us
Who
a
knows?
hint?
Oh, we have three
Hey,
different
that's
answers.
me.
Hey, way to go,
One
Craig.
picks Spezza, one
Oh.
picks Sandin, and one picks Simmons. All because they start with S, I guess. And
Yep.
it was Craig who got the answer. He's on a
Darn,
streak.
darn.
And I think it was Wayne Simmons because they call him Spider Monkey because he has long arms, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Speaking of those long arms, look at that punch. Huge
Beautiful.
punch
There's
to
a-
Jordy Ben's
Yep.
face. Yeah,
That's fun to
the
see.
Spider. Okay, next question here. Next question.
Mhm,
There are 10 questions, by the way. The Buds.
The Buds.
Which NHL team is the Buds? The Bruins, the Sabres, the Columbus Blue Jackets, or the Toronto Maple Leafs? The Buds.
Isn't it
Max, who do you think
Montreal?
it is?
Oh my God, I have
I
no
don't see
idea.
Montreal here.
Oh, I'm not sure if she got that
Hey,
one.
Look at that.
Max, did you pick
No,
the Bruins?
I didn't. Yeah, I did. I picked the
Ooh,
Bruins.
the
I didn't pick the
Bruins.
Leafs. I've never heard the Leafs called
It
the
is the
Buds.
Leafs. I don't know why. Does anybody know why?
Because Leafs come out of buds.
Right, because Maple Leafs come out of
Because
buds.
it's a plant.
Yes,
It's a plant thing.
it's a plant thing.
Okay, well, I've never heard you call them that, so
I don't
it's
think I
okay.
ever.
I think that's an old
Yeah, I
thing.
don't
I think it's
call
a
them that
boomer
often.
thing.
Okay. I don't feel as bad.
Okay, here we go. Craig's on a four answer streak. Correct answer streak.
I should pick up my
The
phone.
Slugs. Which team is the Slugs?
Oh my gosh.
The Kraken, the Buffalo Sabres, the Minnesota Wild, or the Edmonton Oilers? Which are the Slugs? Are they from the Ocean Slugs? Are they from the...
Oh no.
Oh, man, well, you picked the Oilers. That makes sense. The Slugs are oily.
Well, I figured Seattle was too new to have like a popular nickname.
That's good
true.
thinking.
That was my only form of deduction there.
No, but that's
And Kyle,
logic,
isn't-
they
Max.
have
That's
one
good.
yet.
Isn't it the Buffalo Slugs?
The Buffalo Slugs.
The Buffalo
yes.
Slugs.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
we had-
because they suck. But
there.
also, on the screen, Max,
Yeah.
the 1996 to 2006 logo,
Yeah.
does that look like a slug?
No, it's the one below it.
Oh, is it this one?
It's that one,
That
yeah.
one looks like a
That's
Oh,
the
it's
buff-
the yellow
That's the
one.
Buffalo Slug.
For some reason, I thought it was the red
Well, they
and...
kind of have a similar shape, but the yellow one is more of a slug shape.
It's
That's
like a
true,
really
that's true.
aggressive slug.
Yeah.
Now, the only way I can assume they have anything to do with the sabers is because that's what it used to cut off the head of the buffalo. Because there's no saber anywhere in either of those logos.
Right.
Right.
I assume that's only.
And we have a buffalo head here, cut from a saber. So obviously, when they tried new things, it didn't go so well. So they went right back to what it used to be.
Which I like.
Okay, you guys ready for the next question?
We.
What?
Okay, I think it's another team one. I can't remember exactly. I made it this afternoon. The
Okay.
fish sticks.
Oh, boy.
Which team is the fish sticks?
Yeah,
Oh,
boy.
I know the fish sticks.
you-
There they
Do
are.
you like fish sticks?
Oh, I
You
think
like
I-
fish
I
sticks in
think
your
I-
mouth?
I don't know.
Oh no.
Oh, New York.
Sorry, I forgot to mention the teams. Vancouver Canucks, Seattle Kraken, New York Islanders, or the San Jose Sharks. And we have three different answers. One picked the Canucks, one picked the
Craig's on a
Islanders.
streak.
Correct. Islanders is correct. And the San Jose Sharks. Max, which did you pick?
I picked the sharks because I was like, well, they probably eat fish sticks. So
Yeah. Many fish,
that logic.
fish sticks. Fish
I'm-
sticks with an ST. Here we go. Back to players. The Rocket.
okay, if I get
Oh,
this
yeah.
wrong,
Okay. Come on.
You're going to be in trouble, I think,
you
if you
can
get
you
this
can
wrong.
Yeah.
divorce me.
Connor McDavid, Henri Richard, Maurice Richard, or Wayne Gretzky. Everybody gets it right. Well done. Maurice Rocket Richard. Max is French, by the way, if you didn't know. I married a French woman from Northern Ontario, not Quebec.
No.
Definitely not Quebec. Sorry, Quebecers, for that one. But Maurice Richard. Next one here is Pickles.
Oh, I don't know if I know this one.
I don't know.
Oh, I know this
Jack
one.
Campbell,
Oh, I know
Mark
this
Edward
one, of
Vlasic,
course.
Eric Carlson, or Rick Pickle.
What?
Rick Pickle is not a real person.
Hey, you never know. It could be.
Oh,
It could be.
no.
Max, did you pick Jack Campbell?
Yeah, I did.
What a wonderful
Pickle
Jack
soup.
Campbell.
What
Classic
a wonderful
pickles.
human.
I love pickle
Classic
soup.
because of the pickles. Yes,
Oh, yeah. Aw, I should have picked up on that. Oh, well.
that's okay. Craig, a commanding lead,
Running
now.
away with this
Yep.
quiz.
Running away with it. Next
Have you
nickname,
missed, Craig?
the Big Smooth.
May have.
We've got Brendan Shanahan, Alex Ovechkin, Connor McDavid, or Wayne Gretzky. Who's the Big Smooth?
Mm.
There's only
This
one
one I
guy there
actually
I
didn't
don't know
know.
the nickname of, so I'm guessing.
Everybody got it right.
I got it right.
Hey.
Wow.
Brendan Shanahan, the Big Smooth. No idea that was a thing.
Huh.
But he's a smooth-looking character, the president of the Toronto Maple Leafs now. Okay, last question here. Last question. Who is Soup Dog? Jack Campbell,
Ruff.
Lindy Ruff, Campbell Ruff, or Snoop Dogg?
I love it. I love it.
Isn't that fun?
Even
I've
the
never-
Everybody
photo
gets
is
it.
funny.
Jack Campbell.
I've never heard Soup Dog before, but I like that.
Yeah, I got that one from their actual video of what their nicknames were. They actually put them up there. And yeah, that's it. Well done with the quiz. Oh, NHL nicknames. Who won? In third place, we had Wife.
I got 50%. I passed.
5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Dan, 7 out of 10. And Craig, 10 out of 10. Well done.
Wow.
Well
Way to go,
done.
Craig.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Yeah, way to go.
Jack Campbell. Max, are you a fan of Jack Campbell?
Yes.
You like Jack?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Should we name our kid Jack?
Should we?
We could name our kid Jack.
Do it.
Are you announcing something on the podcast?
We're having a kid.
Really?
I don't know
Like
if
for real, for real.
This is for real.
Really?
Oh,
Really? For real? For real?
congratulations.
Yeah.
Max is 3 months pregnant as of a couple days ago.
Holy shit, guys.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Very excited. Look at the little baby. Very excited.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job.
Oh, we do that
I
little.
didn't know how Kyle was going to transition into that. So
Well, I put Jack Campbell at the
Yeah,
end,
at
and
the
we are
end.
actually thinking Jack is a really cool male name, Jack
Yeah.
Nurse.
I love it.
I like Jack Campbell Nurse, but that's just
a
me.
bit much.
Why don't you just name him Jack Campbell, hockey player nurse?
Yeah.
Just like
Wait, well,
avoid
you do
any
have till
confusion.
after the playoffs to make a decision, so we'll see how
It's true.
how the
It's
spring
true.
goes, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
may
So
want-
end of July this year,
That's
adding
awesome.
to the Nurse family.
I love it.
Hmm.
I love it.
Exciting.
Get ready
Excited.
to not sleep ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan,
Just-
any tips or tricks or there's no tricks.
Just there's no tricks. Just sleep now and enjoy it and enjoy
Right.
all your free time. And then it's all gone.
And then it's all gone. We are
least-
excited.
At least until
For that.
3.
Okay. Thanks, Max.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye,
baby
Max.
mama.
Bye.
Bye, Max. Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go.
Well, that was a fun little thing with Max there and a fun little announcement. So let's get to the games this week. We're
very
not gonna
quick
do
thing.
a full. Yeah,
We've never had two guests on at the same time till now.
technically, yes. Nice.
Clever.
Yeah,
I had to
yeah.
think about that one, Craig. I was like, who the fuck are you? Like, what are you talking about?
Literally a second ago.
That's 90% of what I say can be responded with that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
The
fair.
fuck are you talking about? Okay.
One
sorry.
day we'll have two living human guests physically in the space as opposed to one inside another. And that takes us back to Kodak Black, one inside another.
Bring it all the way back around.
Like I said, that's all
come
we're going to
full
talk
circle.
about today.
Yep.
Okay. Leafs, hockey, 3 games. Yay, we had 3 games of hockey. Yay. Well, one is
In a row.
postponed right now, but whatever.
Yeah, tonight's
We had
game.
who did we have? Vegas.
Vegas.
The shootout win.
Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Arizona,
Arizona
and St. Louis.
Right, lost to Arizona. Our newest Vezina goalie candidate, Vamelka.
Isn't that incredible?
Insane.
Kid can play.
Just nuts. But the main story of the past couple of games is how many goals are the Leafs going to go up and how quickly are they going to lose their lead. 4-1 to the Avs, and they lost it 4-4, overtime 5-4. 3-1 to Vegas, lost it 3-3, overtime. They won. Okay, fine. Blues up 3-1 after going down 1-0. Good response. And oh my God, it's back and forth, and 6-5 in overtime to finish things off.
It finished in regulation.
Oh, in regulation.
Yeah.
Thank God.
With a
Full
couple
2 points.
Yeah, 3 minutes left or something. Mikheyev scored.
There we go. So it back and forth. Gents, what's going on with the Leafs? Is it just a slump? Is it the same old Leafs losing these leads? Are they going through something physically, mentally, spiritually? What's happening? Somebody else talk for once. Craig.
I think it's just showing, well, they've had some injuries. They've had some COVID protocols. Missing Marner, I think, has really been big for them. I know they had him for St. Louis and still happened, but having a couple shutdown guys going in late in the game really makes a difference. I think it's just between their heads. I think they just haven't played a lot of hockey in the last month. They are on the road with one of their longer road trips. Their games they're supposed to be home have been postponed. They weren't even able to come back home and play a game. And the schedule is just very hectic. They've gotten used to playing every other night, and now it's, you play a night, you're off for 5, you play 1 or 2, then you're off for 4 or 5. I just don't think they can get a bit of a rhythm. That's my guess, as kind of a semi-optimistic, or they're just the same Leafs and they just keep blowing leads. I don't know.
I hesitate to call it a slump. I mean, we won 2 of those 3 games, so that's a solid 4 points. I know one was a shootout, which was terrifying, but great. But I would hesitate to call it a slump. I think this is the Leafs. I don't know. They have trouble showing up for 60 minutes. It seems to be a kind of a consistent problem with them. Is they
years now
score a ton of goals, which is great. Yeah, for like a year and a half.
Oh,
they
5
score
years.
A ton of goals. Yeah, fair enough. So lots of goals, lots of points, but they also allow that in the later half of the game, and it's kind of happened throughout the year. Except the goal differentials have been a lot higher, so we haven't noticed it as much. But they give up a lot of goals in the third period. If this is their mid-season slump that happened last year, where they lost a whole bunch in a row, I'll take it. I'd rather see offense and production happen in a slump than not. So I hesitate to call it that, but if that's what it ends up becoming, if they can continue this pace of still having a good offense, then we'll see. It may be able to, right itself.
See, what worries me, though, is that certain teams, a couple of years ago, we went, a win in any way is a good thing. And now Keefe is starting to preach that win or lose, it's about how you play the game. And I don't think he likes the way that they are playing the game. I think he's liking them for 25, 30 minutes, but I don't think he's liking the way they're playing for 60. And if they continue to play like this going into the playoffs, we're going to be seeing the same thing we've seen over the last 5 seasons. They're going to leave in the first, they're going to maybe get a couple games up, but the other teams seem to find out how to play against them. And if they can't play in those high pressure moments, and things like playing in Arizona, playing in St. Louis, those aren't high pressure moments, yet somehow they still seem to blow the leads. So I'm not sure what it's going to be like coming into the playoffs.
It makes me worried for the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously worried. If we can't play 60 minutes in the regular season, are we going to see that in the high intensity playoff rounds?
Yeah.
So is it worse that they are losing their leads, or is it good, I guess, as a comparison? Is it better that they are coming back and at least standing their ground after the game is tied? So the Avs game, they lost it in the overtime, sure, but Vegas lost the lead, won in the shootout. The Blues lost the lead, back and forth. They ended up winning. I guess that kind of goes along with what Craig said, win any way you can, or is it, kind of a team loss if they didn't follow the system?
I think it's the second one.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, if you go back to that Arizona game, Arizona will take a win any way they can. They got outshot 3-1 in that game, and still their goalie stood on their head and they won. To their coach, that's great. That is a win any way you can get it. Sure, why not? It is good for morale. They had a good night after that. I'm sure the team was up. I think they just beat Montreal again today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
We set them on a pattern.
Yeah, the as they call it, the anti-All-Star game at the Arizona and Montreal
That's
today.
So funny.
But that's good. That's great for Arizona. But for Toronto, I think they want to be seeing wins happening in the proper way. And by resting on their heels after they get up on a lead, that's not what Keefe wants to be seeing. He said that as much over and over again in the All or Nothing, that I think he's unhappy about the way that they are holding on to those leads.
Okay. Dan, you might be able to help me with this one a little bit more because it's kind of stats-based. And I've noticed since January, and maybe even before that the Leafs aren't giving up a lot of shots. As in, Campbell's not getting a lot of shots, which means if he gets a goal on him, his save percentage goes down and my fantasy anxiety goes up, which is why I'm noticing these things. But if we look at the Sens January, they played the Sens first, only 23 shots from the Sens. Then there was a gap of 3 games where Campbell really stood on his head. 30 shots from the Oilers, 49 from the Avs. That was where he really, really was shining, but they lost. And then 34 from Vegas. So, lots of shots there. But only 18 from the Coyotes, and they lost. And then only 25 from the Blues, but there were 5 goals against. Does this mean lower shots? Does lower shots mean the defense is really good at preventing these shots? Or does that mean the defense is really bad because there's still lots of goals going in? Or does that mean the goalie is not so hot? Dan, what do you think about that?
So I want to break it down actually into these games because I think there's something going on in each of them that kind of explains what's going on. The 23 from the Sens and the 30 from the Oilers, fine. Those are normal shot counts and normal score counts. Those are normal shot counts for a game, and win or lose, you're going to be okay with that. That's not necessarily bad defense or goalie issues. 49 shots from the Avalanche. That's super expected from Colorado. I mean, they have McKinnon. They have a lot of shots coming off that that top line, as we talked about. And I think that's a situation where the defense couldn't really keep up with their offense. They looked a little overpowered throughout most of the game. So I think in that case, that was a defensive blunder. Campbell had to play really, really well for that. He did a good job, though. Against Vegas. Vegas is a tricky team to play against because they also have a lot of offense. But that one, for me, I think was actually a defense bad game. We should have come ahead with the win on that straight out. Like, there shouldn't have been overtime, shootout, any of that. The way that the Leafs were playing offensively certainly led to that. But then I think it was more of a defensive breakdown. And that was Mrazek in net? Or was that Campbell?
Was Arizona, yeah. Arizona was Mrazek.
Yeah. So, sorry. Vegas, though, was Campbell, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, Campbell played his best, but it just wasn't enough. Against Arizona, 18 shots. What do you expect from Arizona? Like, they're not a high shooting team. They're not playing well this year or at all or last year. Like, that's kind of what I expect. And I think in that case, we just got goalied. It was just a pure, simple case of getting goalied from the other team. It was a 2-1 game, I think, if memory serves. And And Arizona scored early, and then they had one each in the third, I think. And so, I don't fault anybody there. Maybe the goalie. I think Mrazek could have held one of those back, but again, they were great shots. So who knows? And then,
so the shots are more based on the opponent than on our defense or our goalie. Is what you're trying to say.
Pretty much is what I'm getting at. Like, I don't think our defense is bad. We have a couple players that we're replacing, but I don't think, it's a defensive breakdown. I think our goalies are solid. So I'm not necessarily worried unless this trend continues long term.
Craig, do you agree with Dan's assessment of the shots?
I think it is somewhat based on the team that we're playing, but what I see is that the defense is coming from the strength of the offense. Like they say, the best defense is a good offense, especially in a game like we're talking about the Senators and let's say Arizona. Let's use those against two lower quality teams. They had so many shots against, or so many shots for and so few against, because they spent so much time in the offensive zone. But that really shows how weak our defense is with that many goals going in on so few shots on things like that. So let's talk about, I'm going to go to the Arizona game. The first one, the puck where Dzingel shot it over the net, bounced off the glass, came right back to him, and he's able to slam it back in the net. That started with a Dermott giveaway, and then nobody having Dzingel in front of the net twice. So it doesn't matter how much time you spend in the offensive zone, get all those shots. Sometimes you're going to get goalied, but if your defense is going to turn the puck over, and the other team, they capitalize so much more often on those little mistakes that Toronto makes. Because when they make a little mistake, they seem to compound them into a big mistake. And that's where those teams are getting those goals. Now look at the Colorado game. It was high shots for both teams. That was just offense going both ways. The entire game, it was just all offense. Toronto was able to run with a team like that. But you did see a lot of shots against. The 49 shots that Toronto took against, that's showing that their defense cannot keep the puck out of their zone. And then a team like Vegas, they don't even have their first-star center yet. But again, they're getting a decent amount of shots against. It's just showing that their defense, as offensive as they are not good enough to this point of getting the puck out the zone and transitioning it to get to the other end when they're playing against good teams.
Are you worried for playoffs, Craig?
Yes. 100%.
Sounds like it.
I'm counting down the days to when we trade for a top 4 defenseman because we need something. Because I don't feel comfortable going into playoffs again with the same decor we had last year. They didn't look bad for the beginning of the season, but they're really starting to show that if this team is serious about that last stand, last chance, as Dubas is saying, that this is all or nothing, this is the all or nothing season. And the Leafs need to do something big if they're going to go far. Because with this team as they are right now, I don't see them going to the finals. The forwards, yes. The forward group has never been better. I don't think the defensive group is comparable to Florida, Vegas, Tampa, Carolina. Like those top teams, they're just not in the same boat right now.
If I may, Kyle, Craig, you mentioned offense great, defense not necessarily the greatest. How do you feel about our goaltending going into the playoffs?
Campbell, I have no problems with him. Mrazek, he's only played 5 games. He only allowed 2 against Arizona, and I don't think I'd put either of them really on him.
No, that's fair. Just want to know.
We talked about the Arizona game a little bit in that segment. Alex Galchenyuk. Woo! We got to see him again. What a stud for the Leafs last year. Kind of a diamond in the rough. Played really well through the season. Had a gaffe in the playoffs, and we lost. For at least a while, we were like, yeah, let's bring him back. Let's bring him back on a small deal. Let's see if he can develop. He seemed to really, really enjoy working with the Leafs. Now he's on the 4th line in Arizona. 4th line, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting that. Did we dodge a bullet with him, or are you sticking to your guns saying he would have been good in Toronto? Dan.
I mean, I think he was good in Toronto, and I think maybe if he'd stayed with Toronto, he could have been good. But he's got 4 points right now so far in the season, but he is also playing for Arizona. So it's hard to say. I mean, yes, obviously, I'm glad he's not on our team if he's producing 4 points in the season so far. But I think he played well on the Leafs, and I think he complemented the team nicely.
Now, to be fair, he did have an assist in that game. So he has as many points in that game as any Leafs player did. So now I think he's one of those players that can play really well with top end talent. There are some guys that they may not be the best player in the league, but they complement top end talent really well. And I think Alex Kerfoot is one of those types. Like on his own, he may not be able to drive a line, but he works really well with these top end guys. And I think Galchenyuk is something like that. And Arizona just has no top end talent. who the hell is he going to bounce off of? They've got Clayton Keller and Lawson Krause, I believe, on the who does he have to complement his abilities?
Nothing.
He seemed like a fourth line player over the last 6 seasons, except for when he was playing with, the big four. So I think, yes, we dodged a bullet, even though he probably would have done pretty well on the Leafs this season. I think he overplayed his hand, and he has to deal with the cards that he was dealt.
And I think we did pretty well with the money that he maybe was offered in the $1 million range. Like, we got Bunting.
If we consider this a Bunting for Galchenyuk trade, because came from Arizona, if you consider it that way, that's a pretty damn good trade.
Yeah. Even Akasha's around $1 million too. So it's like, oh, yep, that's fine. That would have been Galchenyuk's money. I'll take Kasha.
Yeah.
Especially as an RFA next year. So that's pretty good. Okay, and then last thing on the games, Liljegren finally got his first NHL goal. I think he played 30, almost 40 games in the NHL over the past couple seasons, and he finally got a goal. It was a rocket. Kind of shaky in his own end at the St. Louis game, but he hasn't played consistently in a while, so I'm not going to hold it against him just yet. However, I do want to talk about his position, and Craig kind of brought it up already, right-hand D. There is one big right-hand D on the market now. He is supposedly being shopped, John Klingberg, by the Dallas Stars. John does want to stay in Dallas. He wants about 8 times 8, give or take, and I don't think Dallas is willing to shell that out. They kind of got stung by Jamie Benn and Sagan with some big money, long contracts, and they panned out early, but they're not panning out later. So I think Dallas might be taking a different approach for their contracts moving forward. I even read an article today. There's potential, or at least a good fit for Klingberg would be the Leafs. What do you guys think? Craig, go for it. You seem to be really passionate about the right-hand D.
Well, I think in terms of Leafs looking for a right-hand D, yes, they're a good fit. In terms of Leafs looking for a defensive defenseman, I don't think Klingberg would necessarily be the ideal fit for Toronto. If they can get him at the right price and they can get him at the, a good trade, if they can get that contract down, what's he making right now? 4.5 or something?
4.25.
Yeah, so
and then he's a UFA.
If they can bring that down half, and if they're able to move out $2 million, let's say a haul in that trade, sure, that sounds great. He was definitely be an upgrade, but I don't think he is just the ideal piece. I think we're looking for someone who can really shut down in our own end and who can transition the puck well out of the zone. Now, we don't see a lot of Dallas games. From what I hear, though, that Klingberg is not necessarily the best guy in his own defensive zone. I think he's just another Riley or maybe a Barry. And I don't think we necessarily need another guy like that. I think we just need a Hall plus.
Dan, what do you think? You want Klingberg?
Nope, I'm good, thanks. As Craig said, if he was half the price, possibly, but we just don't have the money for him. Like, we have so many contracts coming up next year that we have to decide what to do. We're going to lose some good players. And I just don't think we should be investing in somebody right now that, I was looking at his stats. He's got the same number of kind of blocks and hits as Matthews. And those are pretty different positions. So, like,
Matthews does block a lot of shots, though, actually.
He does. But, well, I mean, I could have picked, like, who else do you want? Kasha. Like, he's got kind of the same kind of stats as him almost. So I don't think we want him to fill out our defensive side if that's not the role he's looking to play.
Yeah.
I want to go the other way. I want Klingberg. And I think that it addresses what Craig was talking about, that we do not have the depth on our defense to compete with some of these teams. And Klingberg is an elite defenseman. He was in previous years. Right now, he is struggling, and it could be kind of a contract thing. And he is an elite defenseman. Now, Craig did mention Klingberg for Hall. And Hall, he's kind of in between. I think Hall wants to be more of an offensive defenseman, and he jumps up a lot, and he gets caught a lot. He's not as much of a defensive defenseman. Muzzin is the defensive defenseman. So I feel like if Hall went and Klingberg took his spot on the right, So it would be Riley Brody, Muzzin, Klingberg, Sandin Liljegren. That feels a lot deeper right away. And I think it fills in a lot of the holes that Hall has. I'm pretty sure Klingberg is bigger. He's more experienced. He's just more elite. If you saw him on NHL 22, he would probably have elite status. So I think he'd be great. And I think for the price, too, 4.25, if you can get that down a little bit, sure, great.
Okay.
But also the cap shenanigans, I think they can make it work. They've been doing that all year. I don't see why they couldn't. But what's the price to get him?
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. What's it going to take to actually get something like that? Because we're talking about having salary retained. He is a big player. He's going to be a rental because the Leafs aren't going to be able to re-sign him. Are the Leafs willing to pay the cost of what it takes to get Klingberg in this market of other teams? There's several teams that are going to be looking for his services. So you might be getting a bit of a bidding war. Now, is it worth spending maybe a second and a fourth or something to a couple teams to get some salary retained? Or is that worth it? Or can we use that somewhere else? Or do we need to, do we want to be trading away all these draft picks and prospects? Because it sounds like this is the year. And if things don't go well this year, we're going to need those draft picks and you're going to need those prospects. So I don't think the Leafs are in a position to be trading what Dallas, I think, will want for Klingberg.
Okay, let me just throw out some stuff. And I know you said maybe not, but I'm also thinking about the return. So let's assume Hall is in this trade. And also let's assume Dallas is probably out of the playoffs. I think they're not going to be able to make a comeback.
At this point, no.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky.
At this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hall for Klingberg straight up is probably not going to work for the Stars. What if it was Hall and a second? And that's it. What do you guys say about that? Just yes or no?
It won't happen.
Okay, but let's pretend you are Kyle Dubas and whatever his name is, Nil. And yes or no?
If I were Jim Nill, I'd say no.
Okay, gotcha. Dan.
I'm going to say no also. As you said, we can't pay for him next year.
But we're not. He's a rental. He's UFA.
Oh, okay. As a rental.
We're paying a second.
I'm still. No, I think I still would rather see what else the Leafs could do.
Okay. What if it was something like Klingberg and Holtby for Mrazek and a second or other stuff? We talked about this last week. Holtby looked nice, and Mrazek maybe is attractive to the Stars because they're kind of out of goalies coming up here soon, and Ottinger is the future. They need someone to help. What do you guys think about that, Craig?
See, I think what Dallas is going to look out for something like that. They're looking at Mrazek, who's got a $3.4 whatever it is $1 million contract, and they're going to say, well, if we're giving you the best player in this trade in Klingberg, you better give us something back to be able to pay for this contract for the next 2 seasons. I think you'd be looking at something like Klingberg for, let's say, in Holtby for Mrazek, and they're going to be asking for somebody like Sandin or Liljegren, or they might want Kerfoot, which maybe we can make work, but they're going to be asking for some sweeteners in that. And if they don't get sweeteners here, they're going to look at Florida and they're going to say, well, you want a second pair right D? What can you top Toronto with their second pick? And he's going to look over at Boston. Then they're going to look at Anaheim. They're going to look at I think there's too many teams around the league that's looking for services of players like Klingberg that they're just not going to be able to pay the price that it's going to take to get him. Honestly, I don't think
you're being too literal with this armchair GM thing, Greg. Dan, what do you think? Mrazek for Holtby within the Klingbergness?
So I'm going to throw a little bit more at you. I'm going to say we give Richie and a second and Mrazek. And then we get Klingberg and Holtby.
Hey, that is something for the Stars. Like, it's not
nothing. And Richie's a big player. He's a good player. He's just not having a good season.
Yeah. Okay, last one, I swear. let's say Hall is still involved in this, and Nick Robertson, because
I want
his
Pavelski.
brother Jason Robertson plays for Dallas. So does that mean kind of the Leafs are giving more now? So maybe we get a second back. Maybe we get a first back. Something like that. Or maybe it's more likely that salary is retained, which maybe is probably the worst of those. What do you think about that?
I think that's what it'd take to get the salary retained. You're going to have to throw in a good prospect for, because, they're not they're a big market team, but they're not a high grossing team. So I don't think they're going to be wanting to take back a lot of salary if they don't, if we're not going to sweeten the pot. Now I'd love to see a trade for them to throw in Pavelski. I think that is a guy that it would help your team in the playoffs.
Oh, big time.
Absolutely.
50% of that retained is
that's a big trade.
So
yeah,
that's huge.
It's a lot of money, but
that'd be good. Dan Robertson?
No, I don't want to give up Robertson. I like the little we've seen him play a little bit, and I would rather let's give Hutchison. We'll just flood them with goalies.
That's funny. Okay. I say yes, John Klingberg. My compatriots say no. That's okay.
I think I would love him. I just think the reality to get him is not going to happen. I just don't necessarily think he's the best guy. If Dubas went out today and got Klingberg, I would be ecstatic. I would be more than happy because he's still an improvement on anything else we have. And very quick thing, it's funny you're talking about Robertson. I was actually doing a quick little thought experiment today, looking at Leafs lines, whether or not if they traded some players. I won't go into that right now, but I had Robertson slotted in on the line. I go, are we ever going to see this guy play again? Because he can play about 6 games and he gets injured. So I don't know if it's something just with him or if he just has terrible luck. But until I can actually see Robertson play a full season in any league, I'm not going to count him into Leafs, into any sort of future for the Leafs.
Well, that's why I was thinking the trade, maybe.
Yeah, so
it seems attractive because his bro's there.
So something like that. I think he would be the kind of player that I'd be more than happy to toss into a trade. It might come back to bite you, but right now, it's hard to say. I think he would be a good player to trade because he's got a lot of upside, but I just don't see him in the Leafs' future.
Okay, last thing for the Leafs. We did this last week. I thought it was really cool. We did a little deep dive on Alexander Kerfoot. How about we do a deep dive on one of the other really, really hot players on the Leafs right now, Ilya Mikheyev. He's on some major point streak.
He's on fire.
Our buddy Dan, he is loving him. Is one of his fave players. Dan, what do you got for me on Mikheyev?
So, Mikheyev's been great this year. Well, since coming back. So he played a little while in Russia, played for a lot of years, and the Leafs got him in 2019. He suffered that really, when I rewatched the slash to the wrist, skate to the wrist today. And I remember when it happened, I didn't really think it was a big deal. And then you realize it caught an artery and everything kind of changed. So he was out for, I think, the entire year and came
pretty
back
much
for
the entire season. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, that was big. The one thing I didn't know anything about this until doing a little bit of reading today is Dubas's role when he was injured was incredible. Like Dubas never left his side for the most part. He made sure he got him onto every plane, like got him back to Toronto, got him into surgery. He cleared his schedule to be with him, which I don't know if a lot of people would do that at that level. So I thought that was really kind of cool of Dubas. It adds to my likability of Dubas. But anyway, back to Mikheyev. So he's also one of my favorite players because he got a soup contract by saying, I like soup and I don't know why you guys don't eat more of it. And then his agent was like, hey, I'm going to run with this and make you this wonderful contract. Now, of course, everyone realizes they've made an error because Jack Campbell's on the team, but you can't
the new
negate
soup.
that.
Yeah,
exactly. So
soup dog, actually.
Soup dog. Have you guys actually seen the Mikheyev soup commercial?
I have. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like, oh yeah, Mom, I'm definitely taking down your recipe. Yeah, just like Mom used to make, opening a can of Campbell's soup. It's pretty clever. I liked it.
Yeah, but it's clever. But he's, last year his shorthanded goal ability, which I think he did 2 in a row, or it was 2 and then, he didn't do it for a while, but it was really fun watching him. And his speed on the ice is incredible. He is one of the faster players on the ice at any given game. And his ability to break out away from the defense and get an odd man rush or get a breakaway is really quite incredible. So I was sad, obviously, this year when he was injured again and he was going to be a while before he came back. But I've been thrilled since his return. A shorthanded goal, a power play goal, and a few assists in there. Like, he's just been on fire. And the crowning moment for me was when the TSN analysts actually started to talk really well about him. Like, they've talked about him a lot. They've talked about him interspersed between talking about the top 4. But now they kind of focused on him for a game and really gave him some love and showed, he's showing the kind of player he can be. So my hope, obviously, is we keep him next year. But it's going to be really expensive and probably not going to happen. So it's a bit of a bummer, but we'll see what happens with that.
And Mikheyev played his 100th game in the NHL against St. Louis and had the worst goal ever.
Yeah.
It was like the weirdest angle.
Wasn't that crazy?
Shouldn't have gone in, but thank the Lord it did.
3 feet behind the red line.
That's kind of like the Kampf goal when they beat Chicago. That one game when they again had a lead and they blew it, and Kampf scored in the last, couple minutes of the game with that weird bounce that never should have gone in. Sometimes the Leafs are just getting some good luck. Like we were talking ages ago about the Leafs just not getting the bounces. It seems like every once in a while the hockey gods seem to be on their side.
Getting those bounces. Awesome. Thanks, Dan, for that little deep dive on Mikheyev. Hasn't been in the league super long, but yeah. Craig, any thoughts on Mikheyev? Sorry, I skipped over you.
No. I'm just glad to see that he is getting his confidence back, because when he first came into the league, we were expecting some really big things. He had the one injury, then he had another injury, then he had COVID protocol, and it's just been like there was a shutdown at the beginning of the pandemic. He came back from the injury just for that bubble playoffs. I remember he scored in the exhibition game coming back. First goal of that kind of warm-up exhibition, Mikheyev scores, and we're like, all right, he's back. We've got him. And then he pretty much did nothing for that entire round in the playoffs. But I'm just really glad to see that he seems to be living up to the potential. He's always had a good defensive side to his game. He's always been a good forechecker, but it's nice to see that he's able to actually put some goals in the net.
Nice. Okay, last thing. All-star rosters were announced. Fart. That's all I got for that. Like, what are we got doing
Jack
here,
Campbell.
folks?
Jack Campbell's going to the All-Star game. It's not a huge fart.
Oh, damn right he is. He's the best goalie in the league, basically. Yeah. Probably.
Pretty close.
I'm not upset with the Leafs that are going. Like Matthews and Campbell, that's great. So many snubs out there and players that like maybe shouldn't be going. Like, come on. And I think it all comes down to, and what it all comes down to is you don't have to send a player from every team. Would you guys agree with that?
Yep. I think it's an all-star game. I don't think it's a everybody gets a ribbon game.
The all-representative game, I think, is what McKinnon called it. But yeah. I have two minds of that. No, I don't love that every team just has a player there. Doesn't matter how well they're doing. Like I saw that they're saying Nick Suzuki's going. He is 159th in scoring in the league, when Nazem Kadri, who's 4th, is not. But at the same time,
not yet. He will go.
Yeah. Well, as long as he gets in that fan voting. But if me and my 700 alter egos don't get John Tavares in, I don't know what my time was spent for.
No, but Central Division versus Atlantic.
Oh, that is a good point.
There's one last man in for each.
I guess everybody division. Go and vote for Nazem Kadri for the last man in. We can allow him to be
in terms of the last man in for that, like Kessel, Jones, Kadri, Jason Robertson, Ryan Hartman, Yossi. I think is the only one that might give him, competition. Robert Thomas and Scheifele. Yeah. Like it's Kadri. It's got
to be Kadri. Yeah, but then at the same time, having teams like Montreal who are garbage this season and not sending somebody, you're losing out on a large amount of fans that aren't going to be watching that game by not having someone from every team going. Now, some teams if they don't send Clayton Keller from Arizona, how many people aren't going to be watching that game? 6. But by not sending someone from every team, you might be alienating some fan bases. I don't know. I know they're trying to get parity in the league, but at the same time, looking at something like that, I think the problem is the 3-on-3. There just doesn't seem to be as many players going to the All-Star game anymore.
That's true. But why can't the players just go for fun, but not be on the team? Just be there, hanging out. Maybe they're wearing their jersey, doing interviews and stuff.
Yeah, like the NBA All-Star game, or at least at the skills competition, anybody who wants to join can go. If you want to be in the dunk competition, okay, go and be in the dunk competition.
That's kind of cool.
So,
great.
That's the thing.
A little more
you might have some guys who are really good athletes who can do some of these fun skills, but may not be the guy that's going to be the All-Star game. Let them be at the All-Star. Let them be at the skills competition. Show off what they can do. Who's it hurting? It's just for kids, anyways.
Yeah,
I would like to see Mikheyev do the fastest skate. Just see where he ranks. I don't think he's going to come first, but just to see where he ranks.
I think he could.
You think he could take it? That'd be great.
I think he could.
The Leafs used to do an all Leaf skills competition every year. Have all the players and basically do all those, the hardest shot, fastest skater, all that kind of stuff. And I wish they'd bring that back again, because that was really interesting to see how the guys stack up in these kind of competitions, other than just, we're not going to see David Kampf do the hardest shot because that's just not what he does on the ice. But I'd love to see him in these, play those games.
That'd be so much fun as a preseason thing.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be so cool. Come on. We just gave the NHL the coolest idea.
So, what really grinds my gears about this All-Star roster, though?
What?
Anderson's going.
Oh, of course.
It just makes me so sad, almost angry that
he went for the Leafs in the past as well, though.
Not in the last few years, did he?
No, a couple years ago, though.
No.
Yeah, 3.
Well, because he's been garbage over the last couple seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
but to see him back on the All-Star
wasn't.
roster, damn.
Yeah. I think Jason Spezza had a great idea for the skills competition. I think Jason Spezza has a great future ahead of him when he's done being a player. He seems like a really smart guy. But he was saying for the skills competition, why not film it a day before? Because it doesn't matter for the people in the stands, just go whenever, but actually record it, cut out all the crap in between, cut out the 3 hours of floods, cut out the setting up things, and put in, make it an hour and a half, concise, really good, fun to watch skills competition, with some talking heads, some different interviews interspersed within it, but actually make it a production value. Because the problem is now, we enjoy watching the All-Star game and the skills competition, but there's so much downtime that you're just sitting there waiting going, okay, so how long is it going to take them to set up the screenshot thing that's going to break after one shot?
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, then just don't include it, or cut out the 5 hours when you're trying to fix the screen that's not taking the shots. But I think the NHL can just really step up their game when it comes to the actual production value of these All-Star games. And that will be a long way to getting people actually caring about it. And then maybe we can worry about the rosters from there.
Yeah, I agree. Some really good ideas. You got some great ideas tonight, Craig. You're a smart guy. Okay, let's get to our last segment. Let's make a bet. Last week, Craig won the bet because Dan and I had too much faith in our goaltenders. Good
Even I did.
Lord. And
or our defense.
Really,
not sure which.
Really, nobody
yes,
won.
That's right.
Because yeah. But Craig gets a couple bucks. Dan has a bet for us this week. Go for it.
Okay, so the games that we're going to be seeing are against New York Rangers and then Islanders. So, how many full-size cheesesteaks will they be eating during that road trip? No, I want to look at...
Isn't that Philadelphia?
Well, that's fair. So I want to look at total points, not just goals, not just assists, but how many total points do you guys think the Leafs will rack up in 2 games?
Interesting. So you got to think about the goals and then think about how many assists there could be per goal.
So
now
times goals by 2.3 roughly, because most goals will have at least 1 assist, maybe 2. You'll have someone assisted. I don't know. I'll say there'll be 6 goals times 2 point. Let's say 13, 14 points.
Craig's going 14. Cool.
Math with feelings. Remember, that's my thing.
Right. Yes. Yeah. What kind of math are you doing, Craig? Addition and division. What the hell?
Hey, you asked.
That's you. Yeah, that's true.
You're a math teacher, not a communications teacher.
That's just, yep. What am I gonna say here? What did you say? 3 goals each? My God, that's intense. Well, I guess they have been barn burners recently, and then no, but they're coming up against 2 good goaltender teams. I'm gonna go 10.
10. Okay, I like it. So I'm again kind of screwed here, but I'm kind of thinking we're gonna see a lot of goals against the Islanders and then not so many against the Rangers, just given, how they're playing this year. So I'm going to go with 15. And I think we're going to see more goals against the Islanders than we think.
Oh, cool. I get that nice little middle range now. With the 13
yeah, I'm not
and 14.
taking the middle. The middle's the worst.
I get 13.
Very small range,
I get
Craig.
13 and 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
My Lord. All right. You guys good to go?
Good to go, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. That was our very special Leafs Fans and Hostile Lands podcast with the huge reveal that I am about to have no life in 6 months and will be taking a long hiatus from everything that I love and switching all that love to a small human and keeping it alive.
Jeez, it seems like we're heading toward the Craig Shaw show with Craig Shaw, featuring Craig Shaw, produced by Craig Shaw.
Pretty much.
I would listen. I would totally listen to that.
Yeah, Kyle,
I might be the only one, but
Kyle, if you can get a refund on the golf clubs, you should just look into that.
What are you talking about? I'm gonna need those golf. Have you seen the Tiger Woods documentary? Tiger Woods got really good at golf because his dad sat him down in front of him when he was a child, and he swung the club, and the child was just like, "I can do that," and he turned into Tiger Woods. So that's what's gonna happen at a very young age. Come on.
All right, sounds good, buddy.
Dan's like, yeah, you keep telling yourself that, man.
You work on that.
I think the best thing you can teach your child is to obey the Android overlords. And I think that will get you farther than anything else. And teach them Mandarin.
And get them
overlords and Mandarin. If you can do those 2 things, they're set for life.
Yeah.
Go Leafs, go!
Go Leafs, go!
Go Leafs, go!
Craig's like, I want to get the fuck out of here. I'm fucking hungry.